Chosen one. There comes a moment in every believer's life when Allah allows someone to hurt you, not to break you, but to expose them. What they did to you was never a sign of your weakness. It was the beginning of their downfall. The day they mistreated you was the day Allah flipped the script. Because when you walked away, when you stayed silent, when you surrendered the pain to Allah instead of seeking revenge, they had no idea that Allah would use your absence as the beginning of their karma. Ever since you left, their heart hasn't settled, their blessings haven't flowed, and their mind hasn't found peace. Why? Because Allah showed them a preview of their consequence through the loss of you. And now, chosen one, it's time to understand the divine lessons behind why your presence was a test for them, and your departure became their wake-up call. Chosen one, understand this with every breath in your chest. Allah allowed them to mishandle you just long enough for the truth to come out, not because you were unworthy, not because you were replaceable, but because some people can only recognize a blessing once Allah removes it from their hands. And the moment He pulled you away, their world shifted in ways they did not expect. The silence you left behind echoed louder than the noise they created. The absence of your kindness struck them harder than any words you could have spoken, and the void they feel now is not loneliness. It is the realization that Allah had placed a rare, sincere, loyal, irreplaceable soul in their life, and they treated it like it was nothing. So now Allah is showing them exactly what nothing feels like. They look at the people around them and feel no warmth. Because your warmth is gone, they try to laugh, but it feels empty because your sincerity is gone. They look for support, but no one stands by them the way you once did. And now their heart is restless because Allah is making them taste the consequence of ignoring a blessing. Your presence was a mercy, your loyalty was a protection, your energy was a calmness for their soul, and when they mistreated that mercy, Allah removed it and let them feel the coldness of a world without you. And this loss, this ache, this spiritual discomfort they cannot shake off, is not a punishment. This is Allah educating them, humbling them, waking them up to the reality that blessings do not stay when the heart is ungrateful, and that people who take advantage of a sincere soul eventually become desperate for what they threw away, because blessings, just like you, are only recognized once they are gone. So remember, chosen one, them losing you was not your downfall. It was the first step in their awakening, and a divine reminder that Allah honors the hearts that honor others, and He withdraws His gifts from those who do not value them. Chosen one. One of the most powerful and haunting truths you must understand is that Allah armed you with a weapon far greater than anger, confrontation, or retaliation. He armed you with silence, and that silence became a mirror that forced them to face themselves in a way your words never could. When they hurt you, betrayed you, lied to you, or tried to belittle your worth, they expected you to break, to fight, to collapse under the weight of their actions, but instead you withdrew, you detached, you went quiet. And in that quietness, Allah placed a force so heavy that it shook them more than any revenge ever could. Because silence has a way of echoing inside a guilty heart. It exposes intentions, it reveals insecurities, it forces the soul to confront the ugliness it tried to hide. Your silence made them realize that they no longer had access to your warmth, your presence, your sincerity, your patience, and that realization stung deeper than any words could have. Your silence became a judgment without you speaking, a consequence without you acting, a spiritual slap that reminded them that Allah protects His chosen ones, not through loud battles, but through dignified withdrawal. They didn't expect your composure. They didn't expect your discipline. They didn't expect that you would choose peace over proving a point. And because they misread you, your silence became the punishment they never saw coming, the kind that eats them alive quietly, the kind that makes them replay everything they did to you, the kind that forces them to admit that the problem was never you, it was them. And now, every night they lie awake, trying to figure out why your absence feels heavier than your presence ever did, why your decision to stay silent cut deeper than any outburst ever could, and why the peace you chose became their torment. And the answer is simple. Allah is your protector, your guardian, your witness, and when you stood back and said nothing, He spoke for you through consequences, through guilt, through spiritual discomfort, and through the echoing weight of a silence that revealed everything they tried to hide. So remember, chosen one, silence is not weakness, it is spiritual strength, divine restraint, and one of the clearest signs that Allah Himself is handling your battles for you. Chosen one. One of the most profound realities Allah reveals in the journey of the believer is this: those who plotted against you, those who mistreated you, those who tried to weaken you emotionally, spiritually, or mentally genuinely believed they had the power to shatter you. But Allah, in His divine wisdom, allowed them to think they succeeded just long enough to expose their hearts and elevate yours. And when the dust settled, it became painfully clear that they never broke you at all. They broke their own character, their own reputation, their own spiritual standing with Allah, while you emerged stronger, cleaner, wiser, purified by the very tests they thought would destroy you, because they didn't understand that when a chosen one is pushed to their knees, they fall directly into sujood, and when you turned your pain into prayer, your tears into tawakkul, and your heartbreak into a bridge toward Allah, He turned every wound into strength, every betrayal into clarity, and every loss into protection. And in doing so, He made your rise the proof of their downfall. They thought your silence meant defeat, but it meant divine intervention. They thought your isolation meant you were abandoned, but it meant Allah was preparing you. They thought your sadness meant you were collapsing, but it meant your heart was being cleaned and elevated by the One who never lets sincere souls break without rebuilding them even stronger. And now, as they watch you heal, grow, elevate, and glow with a light they cannot understand, they are realizing that the only thing their actions broke was their own blessings, because when they hurt you, they offended Allah, and when they betrayed you, they betrayed the trust Allah had given them by placing you in their life. So their karma is the haunting knowledge that they damaged the only good thing Allah had gifted them, while your victory is the peace that came after surviving what was meant to destroy you. And today, chosen one, your strength stands as a living reminder that no one has power over your destiny except Allah, and whoever tries to break a heart connected to Him only ends up breaking themselves. Chosen one. One of the most painful realities for those who mistreated you is discovering that the very person they tried to belittle, limit, silence, or emotionally break has now outgrown every version of themselves they ever knew. And this growth of yours does not just bother them, it exposes them. It exposes every insecurity they tried to hide, every unresolved wound they ignored, every toxic pattern they refused to heal, and every spiritual weakness they buried under ego and arrogance. Because when Allah elevates a heart that has been wronged, He also reveals the truth of the hearts that caused the harm, and your growth has become a divine spotlight shining directly on their stagnation, in a way that leaves them uncomfortable, restless, and unable to deny what they see. They expected you to stay the same, expected you to crumble under their disrespect, expected you to remain emotionally trapped in the version of yourself they last encountered, but Allah took the pain they gave you and turned it into one of the greatest catalysts of your transformation. He rewrote your story in front of their eyes, and now the spiritual distance between who you are and who they remain is so wide that it exposes the fact that they never evolved, they never matured, they never healed, and they never elevated beyond the shallow mindset they used to mistreat you. They watch you now, your confidence, your peace, your detachment, your wisdom, your glow, your discipline, your connection with Allah, and every part of it reveals how little they have changed within themselves. You healed while they stayed wounded. You grew while they stayed stuck. You surrendered to Allah while they surrendered to their ego. You elevated while they remained trapped in the same habits, the same temptations, the same emotional immaturity, and the same illusions of superiority that made them treat you unfairly in the first place. And now, even if they don't admit it out loud, the truth eats away at them silently. You didn't just move forward, you moved beyond them. They thought you would always be accessible, always available, always at the level where they could manipulate your emotions or influence your decisions, but Allah lifted you to a height where they can no longer reach you, understand you, or trigger you. Their words no longer affect you, their presence no longer shakes you, their opinions no longer matter, their validation no longer holds power. You have become unreachable, not because you became arrogant, but because Allah purified your heart through hardship and placed you in a realm of growth where stagnant souls cannot survive. And this is their karma, being forced to witness your elevation while they remain stuck in the same chapter of life, unable to grow because they never humbled themselves enough to seek healing, self-reflection, or repentance. Your growth exposes the fact that they wasted the opportunities Allah gave them, opportunities to be better, to treat you right, to appreciate sincerity, to value loyalty, to grow alongside you. But instead they chose pride, and pride is the greatest roadblock to spiritual evolution. So now they see the contrast, your life expanding while theirs remains tight, your blessings increasing while theirs remain limited, your peace deepening while theirs becomes more fragile, your heart softening while theirs grows harder, your path clearing while theirs becomes more complicated, your connection with Allah strengthening while theirs weakens under the weight of their own choices. They cannot escape the comparison, because Allah Himself arranged it not to humiliate them, but to awaken them, to show them the difference between a soul that grows through humility and a soul that decays in arrogance. And no matter how much they try to pretend, this truth follows them like a shadow. You are not who you were, but they are exactly who they have always been. And that realization, seeing you become everything they never believed you could be, is what exposes their stagnation more than anything else. Your growth has become their mirror, and they cannot unsee what Allah is showing them. Chosen one. One of the most powerful and frightening realities about Allah's justice is that He does not always punish people through obvious calamities or loud consequences. Sometimes the punishment begins quietly, invisibly, inside the very heart that caused the harm, and Allah makes them feel the weight of what they did to you in ways they cannot escape, cannot silence, and cannot run from. When they betrayed you, lied to you, manipulated your sincerity, or treated your loyalty like it was disposable, they walked away thinking they got away with it, thinking their actions were justified, thinking that your silence meant they had won. But what they did not know is that Allah immediately started the process of exposing them to themselves, and that internal exposure hurts more than any external punishment. He made their mind restless, He made their heart uneasy, He made their sleep disturbed, He made their blessings slow down, He made their peace disappear, He made their comfort vanish, and He made them replay every moment they wronged you in a loop they cannot shut off. They may try to distract themselves with people, entertainment, or noise, but deep inside, the guilt follows them like a shadow. They feel it when they wake up. They feel it in their quiet moments. They feel it when they see someone who reminds them of you. They feel it when they realize they can't find another soul with your sincerity. They feel it when they recognize that life has not been the same since Allah removed you from their path. This weight is not random. It is Allah showing them that you were not just a person in their life. You were a blessing, a mercy, a protection, a test, a gift, and they failed that test miserably. So now the weight falls upon them in ways that break the ego but grow the soul. Their confidence weakens because they now see the ugliness of their own actions. Their relationships crumble because Allah removes barakah from the hearts of those who hurt sincere people. Their happiness feels artificial because they know deep down that it was built on dishonesty. Their plans fail because Allah does not let injustice be the foundation of success. Their spirit feels heavy because they have not repented for the wounds they inflicted. And even if they try to pretend that everything is fine, the truth is written across their life. Nothing feels right anymore. This is the divine consequence of harming a heart that did nothing but pray for them, care for them, uplift them, and hope good for them. Allah's justice is not always thunder and lightning. It is often a slow, internal awakening where a person becomes painfully aware of the harm they caused. They begin to realize that the person they pushed away was the one person Allah sent to improve their life, and now that blessing is gone. They try to replace you, but fail. They try to forget you, but can't. They try to move forward, but remain stuck spiritually and emotionally, because Allah will not let them find peace until they confront their wrongdoing. And this weight, they may not tell anyone, but they feel it with every breath, is Allah saying, "This is what your actions cost you." It is Allah protecting you, honoring you, and making sure they understand that mistreating someone who had a pure heart is not something He overlooks. So remember, chosen one, the weight they feel is not because you wished them harm, you never needed revenge. Allah Himself took responsibility for showing them the consequences of their actions, and He made sure they feel every ounce of the burden they put on you. Chosen one of the most haunting forms of karma Allah gives to those who mistreat a sincere, pure-hearted soul is not disaster, not public humiliation, not major loss, but the inescapable memory of how you treated them, the memory of your kindness, your patience, your loyalty, your softness, your forgiveness, your understanding, your prayers for them, your presence, your warmth, your sincerity, and the calmness you brought into their life. This memory becomes a spiritual echo that follows them everywhere they go, in every season of their life, and in every moment of their loneliness, because Allah allows the heart to remember what it once had, so it recognizes the blessing it threw away. And the truth is, they can't escape you, not because you are still present, but because the version of you that lived in their life was unlike anyone they have ever encountered. And Allah made that memory so vivid, so piercing, and so unforgettable that it lives inside them like a shadow they cannot outrun. They remember the way you spoke to them with gentleness when they didn't deserve it. They remember how you forgave things they never apologized for, They remember how you stood by them when everyone else stepped back. They remember how you encouraged them when others doubted them. They remember how you understood their silence when others misunderstood their words. They remember how you loved with sincerity when they loved with ego. They remember how you remained loyal while they were distracted by the world. They remember how your presence felt like safety, like peace, like a type of emotional shelter they did not appreciate until it was gone. And now that Allah removed you, that very memory has become their silent torment. They witness the emptiness of the people around them, and the memory of your genuineness stings. They experience the insincerity of others, and the memory of your honesty haunts them. They deal with selfishness, and the memory of your giving heart returns. They face betrayal, and suddenly they understand the loyalty you offered without conditions. They try to laugh, but the laughter feels hollow without the comfort you used to bring. They enter relationships or friendships with new people, thinking they can replace what they lost, only to realize that no one mirrors your sincerity, no one carries your purity, no one matches your emotional depth, no one supports the way you did, no one listens the way you did, no one uplifts the way you did. And because Allah placed something divine inside your character, your memory becomes a reminder of what a real blessing feels like. They scroll through their phone and find old messages they once ignored, and suddenly those words feel like gold. They remember moments when you defended them, when you could have abandoned them. They remember conversations where you poured wisdom into their confusion. They remember days when you stayed by their side despite being hurt by them. They remember your du'as for them, even when they gave you no reason to pray except your pure heart. And the most painful part, these memories don't fade. They intensify with time, because the more they experience the world, the more they see how rare your character truly was. They thought they would forget you easily. They thought someone better would come. They thought you were replaceable, common, simple, ordinary. But Allah is showing them that the heart you carried was a one-of-a-kind mercy, a one-of-a-kind sincerity, a one-of-a-kind blessing, and the memory of that blessing will remain a lifelong reminder of what they lost due to their own actions. They can't escape it, because this memory is not just emotional, it is spiritual. Allah imprints your goodness onto their heart as a lesson, a warning, and sometimes even as a punishment. Every time they treat someone poorly, they remember how you never did that to them. Every time they feel lonely, they remember how you filled that loneliness effortlessly. Every time they face hardship, they remember how you would have supported them without hesitation. Every time they cry, they remember how you would have comforted them. And every time they need someone, they remember how you were always there. This memory is their mirror, their karma, their realization, their regret, their consequence. They cannot escape it, because Allah does not allow people to forget blessings they were ungrateful for. So now they live with the haunting truth. The way you treated them is something they will never experience again, and no matter where they go, what they do, or who they meet, the memory of you follows them like a permanent, unforgettable reminder of the blessing they destroyed with their own hands. Chosen one of the most profound truths about your journey is that Allah removed you from certain people, certain places, and certain situations, not as a punishment, not as abandonment, not as a rejection, but as the beginning of a divine preparation for a far greater ending that your soul, your mind, and even your heart cannot yet fully comprehend, because Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sees the full tapestry of your life while you are still holding only one thread. The people who tried to hurt you, betray you, or diminish your worth were never meant to be a permanent part of your story, And the doors Allah closed were never meant to trap you. They were meant to redirect you towards spaces where your presence will be cherished, your efforts will be recognized, your heart will be safe, and your blessings will multiply in ways the ones who wronged you could never imagine. Because your removal is not a loss, it is an elevation, and the higher you rise, the more those who doubted, hurt, or betrayed. You realize that their actions could never stop what Allah had destined for you. He lifted you from toxicity, He lifted you from injustice, He lifted you from energy that would have dimmed your light, and in the vacuum they left behind, Allah created room for mercy, growth, and unimaginable opportunities, so that the very absence of what you thought you needed or wanted in the past becomes the fertile soil where your future blossoms. He is preparing a scenario where the ones who remained loyal, sincere, and patient alongside you will align with your vision, and where the ones who were meant to test your heart are no longer present to confuse it or taint it, and every step you take away from the people and circumstances Allah removed is a step closer to the fulfillment of His plan for you. A plan so intricate, so precise, and so blessed that even their absence plays a pivotal role in your ultimate success. They cannot see it because they are not part of this divine equation. But Allah is orchestrating your path in such a way that every delay, every heartbreak, every rejection, every betrayal becomes a necessary chapter in the story that will elevate you to your rightful place, and their absence becomes a silent testament to the fact that Allah protects, preserves, and prioritizes His chosen servants. Your removal from their presence is not a reflection of your inadequacy. It is a reflection of your destiny, your value, and the fact that Allah does not allow someone who is destined for greatness to be tied down by people who cannot honor or recognize their worth. And in this preparation, He begins aligning the universe itself, your risk, your connections, your spiritual clarity, your mental strength, your emotional resilience, your guidance, and even the moments of divine inspiration toward you in ways that will make the final outcome overwhelmingly victorious, overwhelmingly satisfying, and overwhelmingly peaceful, so that when you finally arrive at the place, with the people, and in the position Allah intended for you, everything will make sense, everything will feel right, and you will realize that the pain, the separation, the misunderstandings, and the loss you endured were all necessary tools Allah used to craft your masterpiece. He is teaching you patience, teaching you trust, teaching you clarity, teaching you humility, teaching you discernment, and teaching you to rely on Him alone. And when you reach that ending, you will see that every person who left, every door that closed, every betrayal that stung, every moment of confusion, and every heartbreak was nothing less than Allah's precision in guiding you to exactly where and with exactly whom you were meant to be, because the final chapter is not just about your comfort, it is about your elevation, your purpose, your mission, and your fulfillment in a way that their presence would have delayed or diminished. And when they see you in this place, shining with the peace, the blessings, the recognition, and the success that Allah intended for you, they will realize that removing you was never about taking from you. It was about letting Allah build something in you that they could never break, something that they could never replicate, and something that they could never reach. And it will be their haunting reminder that when Allah chooses to remove someone from your life, it is never to punish you. It is to prepare a future that surpasses everything you ever imagined. A future so rich in mercy, so filled with guidance, so blessed with clarity, so aligned with your purpose, and so peaceful in his decree that every moment of loss, every tear shed, and every challenge endured becomes a priceless cornerstone in the magnificent ending that Allah is preparing for you, one that only He can orchestrate, and one that no human hand can interrupt, diminish, or replicate. Chosen one, remember this: every heartbreak you endured, every betrayal you survived, every person who tried to diminish you, and every moment they thought they could break you was never wasted. It was Allah's divine preparation for the life, the peace, the purpose, and the blessings He is about to place before you. Your absence from those who wronged you is not loss, it is protection, it is elevation, and it is a sign that Allah honors the sincerity, patience, and purity of your heart. They will never forget the kindness you gave, the patience you held, and the loyalty you offered. And while they relive the weight of their choices, you will walk in your destiny with calm, confidence, and clarity that only comes from being aligned with Allah's plan. So do not mourn the doors that closed. Do not grieve the people who left. Do not wish to return to spaces that no longer serve you, because Allah is orchestrating a reality for you where your presence will be treasured, your efforts will be recognized, and your soul will flourish in peace and honor. Stay patient, stay faithful, stay close to Allah, and trust that every moment of waiting, every step away from those who hurt you, and every hardship endured was not meaningless. It was the preparation for your victorious, blessed, and divinely guided ending. Your story is still unfolding, chosen one, and the chapters ahead are filled with light, elevation, and a clarity that no one who doubted you could ever shake. Walk forward with certainty, because Allah never leaves His chosen ones behind.